Hello and welcome to another episode of Dog News. This is where I bring you stories from around the world about our furry friends, and stick with it. Here comes the first story. So during the Super Bowl this year, all the big companies do TV adverts. They're renowned for doing those during the Super Bowl because it reaches the whole world, and Amazon was one of those. Now Amazon did something a little bit controversial with how we look at our dogs, and they suggested in their advert that getting a second dog will solve your first dog's behaviour problems. Now, a lot of behaviourists are up in arms about this because actually it can increase the problems if it's not dealt with properly. So Amazon are in a little bit of trouble over that because they've given false information, really. And if you do have a dog that's got behaviour issues, sometimes the worst thing you can do is bring a second dog in to live with you to deal with those behaviour problems. I think dogs do teach each other really, really well. But if you bring a second dog in without sort of solving your issues anyway, you could end up either having double the problem or even escalating the first dog's behaviour issues. So Amazon are in sort of tricky ground over that one. Now there's a new TikTok trend which is taking off, and it's been getting millions of views on TikTok, and it's barking at your dog. Now this might sound funny, silly, and some dogs will respond okay to it. They won't be bothered at all. But if you've got a puppy that's just learning its way in the world and it has its owner who's supposed to nurture it and teach it all the right ways, and suddenly you're doing this, a bark at it, and you don't know if the bark you're doing is a fun one, an aggressive one, because dogs read barks very differently to us. And so this TikTok trend is taking off, and people are starting to film themselves doing it to their dog and trying to get a reaction from their dog. It's not a great thing to do. So if you do really want to buy into this trend and post something on there, do something loving or sweet or something like that. Start a trend off that's a positive trend rather than a negative one for our dogs, because they can get anxiety from it. If it's a young dog or a rescue dog or something like that that's just finding its way in the world, barking at it is probably not the best thing to do. So yeah, the new TikTok trend, not so good. So in other news, a Belgian Malinois called Baloo, who used to be a police dog until she was injured quite badly in a police chase, and the car was fleeing and the car ran into her, breaking her pelvis and damaging her leg, so she had to have a leg removed, which is really sad. So she's obviously retired as a police dog, but a lady in Chelmsford in Essex in England adopted her and took her on. And as she was rehabilitating, she was taken into the local police station and the local headquarters and started to reintroduce to the police and everything as a hero, because she was a hero. And now she's getting given a prestigious award at Crufts this year in the main ring. So she's going to actually be introduced there and have about sort of 10,000 people see her get this award, which is lovely. And she's also used now going into schools to teach about dogs, teach about police dogs, and all other talks as well. So the owner who's taken her on has found a whole new lease of life for her to actually go out and support people and other dogs and teach about the work that they do, which is lovely, isn't it? Now, a couple of farmers in Nova Scotia had their dog, a bulldog, give birth to 7 really healthy puppies, but the 8th puppy came out still in the amniotic sac, and it was black, so they feared the worst. They thought, oh no, this is going to be one that's passed away. But then they saw it moving, so they got the sac off the puppy, and before they realised what had happened, they saw that the puppy was green in colour. Now this is something they thought was really, really scary and dodgy. Something had happened to the pup. It came out and it was, perfectly healthy. and they checked with the vet, and actually it's a very rare occurrence that if the dog is in the amniotic sac for a certain amount of time, it can actually go on into the pigmentation of the dog. So they've got a green puppy. How cool is that? Do hope you've enjoyed this episode of Dog News. Stay tuned for more. Don't forget to like and subscribe, that'd be really wonderful, and see you on the next one.